With God's help, we become unstoppable. With God's help, everything is possible. All of the accomplishments are remarkable. Others can hate, but they still can't stop it though. We move forward, never ever stumble. With God blessing us, we still stay humble. And through the struggle and all of the trouble, our work we redouble.
Good morning. Welcome to Unstoppable Purpose in Motion, Season 2. We're having real conversations, sharing real stories, and reminding ourselves that progress doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about being intentional. From these stories, we continue to inspire and grow together. So let's move with purpose. And this morning, we have our panel.
Hi, I'm Jaster.
Hi, I'm Lionel.
And we also have a special guest this morning.
Ooh.
Hi, I'm Sister Cherry.
Representing greet our early birds in the chat.
Good morning. Gaithersburg. We also have Brother Shaw, Jim. Good morning po. Ka Amy, we miss you po. Excited for today's episode. Brother Joseph Soterio, good morning po. Good greetings po to all our brethren. Happy viewing po and happy weekend. We also have Brother Audric Dulai. Washington DC is unstoppable. Good morning po. And Sister Stephanie Magallanes, good morning po, brethren. Happy viewing po from the locale of Washington, D.C. Back to you guys.
Wow, good morning to the Unstoppable District of Washington, D.C. So for this quick segment, we sent out a message to tell us something we're proud of, whether it be big or small. It doesn't matter because every win counts. This way, our story could be featured on an upcoming INCRadio Washington DC broadcast, so we can celebrate our wins together. So let's go around the panel and ask something they're proud of that may have happened recently, or even not even recently, just a small win we want to share. So let's start with Sister Cherry.
Small win would probably getting up this morning.
Oh, that's so
It's
real.
my small win.
Yeah, that's a good win. Waking up early, and what about for you guys?
For me, getting all of my chores done before the weekend. So I finish it all Thursday and Friday. And also, like, shaving my head is a chore because I have a big head. So getting all of that shaved is a chore.
Win. Yeah.
I actually haven't really thought about, like, what would my win this week be? I think it's going back to the gym.
Ooh.
Oh.
I know that I mentioned that last week, but, consistency matters.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
actually continuing on that.
Being consistent is a win.
Yes, there
Yeah.
you go.
And it doesn't even matter, like, if you don't go every day, as long as you're, trying to get to that goal and whenever you have the time to. I think my win is I traveled with my family out the country.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thanks. It was fun.
That's another small win.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. That's a win. So we have a submission. Let's see what her submission is. So we have Sister Lizelle Ramirez from the local congregation of Temple Hills, and her win is getting my driver's license.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is pretty big.
Congratulations.
Yeah, actually this isn't like a recent win for her. She wanted to share that she thinks that she shared that getting her driver's license is a big win, cuz I think so too. When I got my driver's license, it's such a big difference, especially when you like going out.
I mean, there are a lot of people, well, especially like in New York, they've never get their license because, of course, they have public transportation. But whenever they do go out of state, they're like, I can't drive. I don't have a driver's license.
Yeah, like those places where commuting is so common, and then they move somewhere where driving is really important.
Necessary.
That's when they realize. Yeah, so let's continue to share our wins, even in the chat. We'd love to read them. Okay, so let's proceed to our main discussion. So today's conversation is all about finding meaning in the ordinary. Our routine, the quiet moments we sometimes overlook, and the small details that end up shaping our lives in the biggest ways. So I want to ask Sister Cherry, when was a small, everyday moment that unexpectedly meant a lot to you?
I would say my time in the car driving to and from work or to church or anywhere I go, just to have that, that's that quiet, I wouldn't say quiet moment in the car, but it's just you, the road, the car, the music that you're playing, just that. It's kind of like a pause from the hustle and bustle of life, and just to be there, to just have that moment with yourself. So that's my small everyday moment that unexpectedly meant a lot to me, just to have that time.
No,
That's a total difference from my commute to work, because my commute I have like loud music and like there's traffic, so everybody's honking.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. Actually, I relate to that this morning when I woke up, because it's actually been a while since I joined. Well, not a while, but it's only been 2 weeks. But I missed my everyday routine of coming here every Saturday, and I appreciated it. I was like, okay, I don't get to sleep in, but knowing like you get to perform your duties with your friends like every single week. It feels very fulfilling, and like you just have fun doing it. Yeah. So, do you naturally notice small things, or did you have to learn that? Like, let's say in your routine, you're like, oh, this is the normal, and then later on, you're not, this, and then like, you had to learn that, it did mean something to you.
I think I had to learn it, or maybe it just didn't hit me right away. I have to learn it as I grow. Because when you're younger, you're always like so focused on the future, and you're so focused on achieving this and that, and then you just kind of forget the small things in life, right? The small things have so much purpose in the bigger part of your life. So it's an overtime realization that keep waiting. If I keep waiting for something big to happen, I might miss what's already meaningful right in front of me. So I had to learn it, or I did learn it along the way.
Oh yeah.
That's a good thing to learn, because you always tend to forget, like, I need to think of the present right now.
Yeah.
And like I can't focus too much on the future, because then I lose focus on what's
in
going on
front of me.
in front of me right now.
Yeah, I actually related to what Cherry was saying earlier about the drive to work. And it's something that we kind of take for granted whenever we're like driving, because it's those moments where you're by yourself, you're alone with not alone with your thoughts, but like you're like really thinking about it. And I was actually thinking about it, I think recently, about my drive to work currently versus like my drive to work back when I was living in California. And so, just as a little backstory, when I drive to work in California, typically before sunrise, so I get to see the sunrise in the morning.
Ooh.
And where I live is kind of on the hilly side of like Southern California. But as I remember driving and I turned the corner, and I just see the city down below, with the I think it was Mount San Antonio in the background. It's one of the pictures I always like love sharing with my friends whenever I say, "Oh yeah, this is what it looks like on my drive to work." Whereas here, it's like I also get sort of, it's a different scenery. But recently I was going through like some of my old pictures, and I came across that photo. I'm like, oh, I do miss those early morning drives.
Yeah.
It's like those little things that sort of like, even in the mornings, it can really set your day. Where if that tiny thing in the morning it is taken away, it's like throws everything off.
Yeah. Yeah, my scenery is not that great because I have a pretty small car. So like
The
all the
window's
cars, all the cars, I can't see anything. I'm just
The views
surrounded.
above you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for Cherry, what routine in your life has become more meaningful over time? Like, let's say, let's take out like work, maybe something that you never realized meant a lot to you.
Well, this is the first thing that I do every morning, and it just, I don't not do it. Fixing my bed. I read it somewhere where it's kind of like once you fix your bed in the morning, you at least take in one thing off your checklist type of thing. Because I'm a to-do list. I forget things. So I have a lot of to-do lists. I have a to-do list on my phone. I have a physical to-do list, and I have a to-do list for my to-do list. I'm that type of girl. So, so what, just having that one routine every morning that no matter how, like if I happen to wake up late, or if I'm really in a rush, it doesn't matter. I have to fix my bed. Even if it's just to zhuzh up the bed a little bit, or just to put the cover, it doesn't matter, as long as I just know that it's fixed. So at least something in my mind that, oh, I have something I did something in my control that, that I know, okay, it's fine. It's my thing. So that's one routine in my life that has become meaningful. And another routine is the to-do list. I can't do a day without that. And and my coffee morning fix.
Ooh, yes, I agree.
That's
She
a
was
routine.
actually drinking coffee right before the show.
And then we're all wanting coffee.
I can actually relate to the bed thing. It's sort of like a psychological thing where, or like it kind of tricks your brain. Like I accomplished one thing already this morning.
Okay.
I always strive to fix my bed in the morning, even if it is just to, put the blanket back rather, because like you wake up, oh no, it's time to go to work. Throw off the blanket, go get ready, and like, okay, before I leave my room, put the blanket back.
Yeah, I grew up right when I get up. I would just leave my blanket there, and my mom, a mom being a mom, she's like, you can't, like, why can't you just fix your bed right when you get up? And I was like, okay, you're so right, you're always right.
Yeah, and another benefit for that is that when you get home, you have a nice fixed bed to come back home to.
Yeah, it's like motivating to like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so excited to do that. So, like with so growing up, what about like did something maybe your parents said or like your older siblings said that may have changed your mind or perspective in like your routine, and then you're like, this is important?
Well, when you were a kid, you kind of, tune it out. It's your parents always tell you to fix your bed, clean up your room, all that stuff. I'll admit it, I didn't do that when I was growing up. I think it just happened over time when honestly, probably in my 20s, that's when I started doing it, to just have that kind of routine. And it's a mindset, just like what Lionel said, it's a psychological thing, and it kind of tells you to, like, when you wake up in the morning, you kind of just like pause for a second and just, okay, it's a new day, you get to start it. Then you fix your bed and then off you go for your day. So it wasn't something in the, in the childhood. Maybe it was a childhood thing, but I didn't follow it when I was younger.
Mhm.
It just kind of just like, when your parents tell you when you're younger, take a nap. You take it for granted. And then now when you grow up, you want to take a nap and you can't.
You realize over time.
Yeah, I
Yes.
need those naps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how can daily routines connect to a bigger sense of purpose?
Oh, I think it's it isn't purpose isn't built in one big moment. It's built in daily consistency. How you show up for work, how you treat people, the way you stay committed to things. When even when you're tired and you just don't want to do anything, but you still show up. The small things, they shape you who you are, and your character shapes your purpose. So it keeps you grounded and mature over time.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the daily routines, it's a discipline, right? It's a discipline that you either put on yourself or someone else put on yourself, but it's something to small thing. It's just like small things make up the bigger thing of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, speaking of small things, Cherry, remember when we were in college and we would put like, oh, do well on your test today. Like we'd write a little note and
Oh,
then
that's
we'll put it
nice.
on each other's windshields. Like we'd find each other's cars
Aw.
and like put it on our windshield. So like I think that was like helping me get through college at the same time. I think it also helped you too, Cherry, right?
Yeah, he was a stalker back in the day. No, seriously. Even those little things though, like just putting notes into someone's car. I actually did that not only in Jay's car, but I've done it in other friends' car or even at work. Sometimes when I know for sure that it's their car, I'll sometimes like leave a little note, or when I put it's just something, it's just something to kind of motivate you, to kind of like just put a smile on somebody's face. And like,
Mhm.
of course, sometimes it's like kind of scared if you see a note on your car. What is it?
Yeah.
You know?
or sometimes, or sometimes when we were, I can see you like sneaking up to my car sometimes, or she sees me sneaking up to her car.
Aw.
No, the scary one is if the note is pink
Oh,
and you're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
no,
Oh,
did I
no.
get into this?
Oh,
time?
did I get a ticket?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I feel like that's such a small, small, small thing to do, but it's like it will impact someone in
Yeah.
like a big
Yeah.
way, because those words of encouragement really can mean a lot to someone.
Yeah.
But before we move on to the next question, let's check the live chat.
So we have Sister Amelia Salazar. My big win, I survived for the month of February and I'm ready to welcome March, still hoping to force strength to use in performing my church duty. And we have Brother A saying, I had to learn about noticing the small moments. In the past, going through injuries where I couldn't fully function, I realized how I took the small things for granted, like the ability to walk or run.
Oh, those are good
Yeah.
comments. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it could be a tough thing to think of, but sometimes when you don't have it anymore, you're like, oh, I should have like appreciated it more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also one thing that I thought about too, because there was a time like maybe around pandemic-ish time, I started feeling bad about myself. I'm like, oh, I didn't feel like myself. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I want to work out, but I'm not motivated to. But it's like, as long as you're trying to better yourself, it shows that at least you care about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then sometimes, like, let's say you're insecure about something, you just have to appreciate what you have. Your body's working normally, like fully, and you have to appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your body's working for you.
Yeah.
There you go. And like sometimes there's days you like feel bad, like, oh, I think I ate too much today, and then you just feel bad about yourself, but you're blessed to be eating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Okay, so for Cherry, Have Have you ever struggled with feeling like your life was too repetitive? If so, how did your perspective shift?
Yeah, I think I went through that phase where, you wake up in the morning, you get ready for work, you go work. After work, it's either, your church duties, your responsibilities at home, your responsibilities for yourself. You're always on the go, right? Comes a time when your body gets tired, your mind gets burnt out, and um, I think for me, the burnout happened when the burnout happened. I kind of like just had to pause and say, "Hey, you're doing all of this not for just yourself. You're doing it for your family. You're doing it for the people under your care. So you can't you can't not show up. So you have to kind of like keep thinking that um, repetitive isn't meaningless. It's refinement, kind of just like in choir, right? We keep practicing all the hymns, but it's not for nothing, right? It's even if we know the hymn already, we got to keep practicing it. We have to perfect the hymn, so when we perform, we can perform pleasingly. It may feel repetitive now, but the repetition, it strengthens us. It's a realization that life works the same way. The routines that I was so tired of, it's shaping who I am. So you kind of just have to like sit back and just pause for a moment when you're struggling with the repetitiveness in your life. So you kind of just like, okay, you have to think it in a different aspect. You have to shift your mind somewhere else where you have to kind of like, you can't keep thinking negative. If you want something positive in your life, you got to keep thinking positive. Yeah, you can complain, it's human in us to kind of like complain first, and then we ended up doing it anyway. But you have to shift it the other way so it can work for you.
Wow, I like that. I like when you said that routine, that repetitiveness, it shapes you who you are.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like how it says in the Bible, like when you want to refine gold, you have to put it through fire, and then when you want to like forge it, you have to like hit it repetitively at the same times. So it's kind of like that. Like, yeah.
We have any comments in the chat?
Yeah, the chat's on fire right now. So we have Sister Nidell. I remember my 70-year-old coworker who is very active and healthy. She said she makes sure to move as much as she is able because it would be a waste not to use what you're given. And then we have at Degoose MF. When I feel exhausted, I take a break, even if it's a short one. We also have Brother Shaji. There's beauty in consistency if it's the good type of consistency. And then we also have at Degu F again, routine also creates discipline and practice makes progress. Consistency is the key, says Sister Amelia Salazar.
Ooh, I love those. I actually love this discussion right now because I'm actually the type of person to say if my life is being too repetitive, I'm like, oh, I want change. I don't know what change I want, but I really want change. And that's the reason why I dyed my hair. Because I was like, I want change so bad, but it's like nothing's changing, so I might as well change my hair. So I really appreciate those comments in this discussion right now with Sister Cherry. So how do you stay present instead of rushing through everyday life?
I just try to remind myself that whatever situation I'm in or this moment that I'm in right now, it won't come back. The people that I'm with, or the people that I encounter, they may not be in the same season, or like if so instead of like rushing to the next big thing, I always ask, what is this particular moment teaching me right now? So it's kind of like um it's a mind thing, you kind of have to sometimes you're gonna have to fight with your mind.
I think it's your checklist mentality because like, you're like, oh, what's the checklist for like this month, or like mentally, what's this month? I think that's why.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, how it's kind of like, how can you appreciate the big things if you can't appreciate the small things now?
Yeah.
Kind of like, or like, how can you appreciate the good times, the good things that's happening in your life if you can't appreciate the bad things that are happening in your life? I won't say necessarily bad thing, but like, something that's not in your favor.
Yeah.
Like
So
setbacks.
yeah, you gotta accept, you gotta adapt. Things, a lot of things in our lives, they just move so quickly. Sometimes we don't have time to react. We can just have to go with the flow. But sometimes you can't just keep going with the flow. You kind of have to kind of like engage with it, and kind of be more conscious of what it's just being more conscious really of the moment of what's going on in your life now.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who or what taught you to appreciate these small things?
I would say the kids.
Mm.
So I'm also a CWS chairperson, and I feel like I've been a chairperson for
A long time.
a long time. I want to say more than a decade. So that makes me feel really old.
We'll just stick to a long time.
Very long time. So I think my time as a CWS chairperson, and you're surrounded with kids, and the kids, they don't think about the future, right? They don't think about what are they going to do tomorrow, unless it's a birthday party and they get to eat or whatever. But right now, sometimes or most of the time, the only thing that they really think about, ooh, who am I going to be friends with, or who am I going to play with? What am I going to eat right now? I'm hungry. So kind of just like that, the things that they do, the things that they say, and it's just what they do or what they say is just so genuine, right?
Yeah.
They say kids don't lie sometimes.
Yeah.
But the kids, they just live in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really care so much about the future. We, the adults, the parents, we do. But the kids, man, they just really they just well, at least when I was growing up too, all I wanted to do was just go out. Go out and play with my friends, or it doesn't matter if I'm out until like late night and I'm coming home. But it's just like the kids, they don't really care, or they don't not care, but also the lolas, because I feel like they've lived their lives, they've lived an experience, and when they get older, so they kind of just like they're okay with what they have, who they have right there and then. So I guess the ends
The spectrums.
the spectrum, because once the kids, they don't know the future, they don't really care so much about it, and then the older ones, they've lived through it.
That's
so
so
they
true.
learn how to kind of like just pause and
Mhm.
Yeah.
appreciate the small things.
Yeah, I like that. Especially with kids. Like, kids are learning from us, but we're also learning from them without even realizing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about for you guys? Is there someone or a reason? Like, is there a who or what that taught you to appreciate the small things?
Honestly, it was my faith that taught me to be more patient. Because when I was living by myself in New Mexico, the closest locale was like 2 hours. And at the time, I was still choir, and I had to be really early to perform. And it was weird because New Mexico was a different time zone to the chapel that I was going to.
Mhm.
So it was an hour ahead.
Oh.
So I had to leave like 3-4 hours early.
That's
Oh, wow.
tough.
Yeah. So it was my faith pulled me through to be more patient and everything. So yeah.
What about for Lionel?
So I was actually thinking about, as like you all were discussing, and trying not to, like, I guess, tear up just thinking about it. For those that don't know, I moved here recently, a year ago. No, in all seriousness, it's like when this is my first time living outside of the family home. And one of the things that we were talking about, like something we took for granted, was, I think I've mentioned this before on the show, where no matter how late it was back at home, me and my parents, me and our family would always try to have dinner together every night. Because despite our busy schedules or busy lives with work, school, friends, coworkers, and even church duties, right? We always try to find a time to sort of come together and, have some family time, have some discussions. And this past week, as I mentioned, I was like going through my gallery, started like looking through some old photos, that it started to make me feel a little homesick, especially during this conversation, where it kind of brought me back to a time when I first moved out. And I think, so I'm roommates with Marvin and Nidell. And I think this was like when they went on their first long trip away. And so after being like so used to having them there, I come home and like,
No
one's
one's
here. No one, I'm just here sort of by myself. And that sort of like made me like realize, okay, the next time I go back home, I'm going to like try to spend time with family, spend time with my best friends. And like, spend time in like the places that, I grew up in. Cause like, right. Me moving here was actually a 1 month decision time. So typically like, right. I got a job offer and then like, oh, we need you to go. Hey, can you come in like 3 weeks? I was like, oh, okay. I gotta figure out stuff at work first. I gotta figure out stuff with, make sure when I leave, like things aren't in shambles. And so it didn't really give me a lot of time to like the season finale.
Prepare,
like the season finale feel where you go around all the places and like it's like slow motion shots kind of thing. Like I didn't really get a chance to have that kind of feel. And so when it sort of hit me, like, yeah, I'm here now. So I don't remember where I was going with this. Yeah, I guess it's to answer your question. It's my family, and also some of the I guess worship services that we have. Some of the lessons that they teach us is to I'm trying to remember the exact words, is to basically respect your mother, your mother and your father. And one of the things that I remember the minister telling us is that our time with them is limited. And it's something that's, I don't know if my parents are watching today, it's something that you kind of sort of see when a difference between seeing them every day versus seeing them every few months. And it kind of hit me when I went back to the Philippines to go visit family, is when I saw my uncle for the first time in like, I want to say like 2 years. It's like I saw his age. He's aging gracefully, by the way. Hi, Potito Leo, you look great. But like, seeing that is like, man, I remember a time, like the image that I had of him in my head was now different than what he actually looked like today. And it's something that I'm seeing also with my parents as we grow older. And I think time with our parents is something that we always hear them say, I wish I had more time with my parents. I wish I had more time to, ask them about things. And that kind of also goes into my grandparents, where but when I went back to the Philippines, he was, my grandpa on my mom's side he was healthy, he was fine, he was like making all these jokes, like being so lively.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple months later, he passed away. And I was just thinking, like, man, I wish I stayed a bit longer. I wish I was able to talk to him more. I wish I knew Tagalog better so I can communicate with him better. That was one of the things I was thinking about.
Translator.
But yeah.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank
Time
you
with
for-
family.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that means a lot. Yeah, your family and your faith and everyone you perform your duties with, I feel like those type of people, they are the ones that make you appreciate the small things, especially when you're performing your duties. You don't see them every day, but when you see them, you're like, oh, I really enjoy this moment. It's like, I remember growing up, I'm like, I wish I could just stay at church like every day. When you're at school, when you're at school, you're like, oh, I'd
wanna go
rather
to
be
school.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I feel like knowing that in your moment, like whatever you're going through, wherever you are, just knowing that God placed you where you are right now, it means something. Like
Yeah.
you may think it's like the ordinary, but later on you're like, okay, I was going through this because God wanted me to be where
I am now.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, now you're our family. We're your family, Lionel.
Aw.
What about before we wrap up? I want to ask Sister Cherry, is there something you want to share to us and also those tuning in the chat or even the radio? Anything you want to share about maybe how your faith was strengthened, or something you want to share?
Kind of like Lionel's story. So I would say almost 10 years ago now, my grandma passed. And at that moment, we couldn't go home. Only my sister, her husband, and some of our uncles and aunties can go home. But my mom and myself couldn't go home. And I remember just really being down. And, she was the Lola, the Inang that I grew up with. So, we grew up under her care. So it was really hard for me to not being to go home. But I poured myself in my duty. That's where I put all my time and my effort in. I remember it was the same week or the week after, maybe there was something that we needed to prepare for, and it was with the CWS. And um, and I just remember I basically was there at chapel all day, teaching the kids how, the song number that we're preparing for. I forgot what the event was, but it was something that we had to prepare for. And, just for that moment, I was able to not forget, but kind of like be like put the grievance aside and put my trust in God, meaning I'm hurting now, and I wish there was something that I could do, but just like what you said, that God put you where you need to be, and at that moment, I needed to be there for the kids. I had to be there to guide them, to teach them, and my world. That's where my world wrapped around. So whenever I go through something, even if it's so hard to show up, but when you show up for your duty, when you show up for Him, for God, He shows you what you need to see in a different perspective. And it just lightens your life a little bit more, or lessen the load a little bit more. So that's where you find the comfort that you need, That's where you find the strength that you need when you're performing your duties, even when you think you can't anymore. So that's That's my insight.
Wow, such
Aw,
great
I love that. I
wisdom.
know, right? Both of
Such
you
a-
making me emotional a little.
Right? I'm
I
like,
was not expecting
let's
this.
not cry today.
Like, we're just appreciating the ordinary.
We just got more tissues. Where is the tissues?
Oh, we love that. Oh, I wish we could hear more. Maybe, in the future you can share more of your stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will have to proceed with our special greetings. So let's go around. Let's go with, yeah.
Jason,
I would like a shout out to my friends in New Jersey and in the Philippines. Hello, everybody.
I do want to give a shout out to my family back in California and in the Philippines, and I can't remember where else they are. There's so many of them. And the last message is if you're looking for a routine, practice kindness.
Like that. Yeah. And Cherry with the greeting.
Well, first of all, I would like to greet my local congregation, Gaithersburg. We are unstoppable. I definitely found my family in Gaithersburg. They have, taken me in when I needed them the most. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to our resident minister, Kalino, and his lovely beloved wife, Tita Lina. Hello po. Kashaji also, and Ate Joy, and everyone else who are tuning in. And to my family and my friends out there, hello everyone.
Hello, hello. And do we have any other shout outs in the chat? Let's see.
I think everyone has already shouted out, but we also have at Levi Sarmiento 1227. Good morning to all from Quantico. And I do believe we had at Degu CMF saying hello DC, greetings from New Jersey as well.
Oh, thank you both for tuning in. But before we go, we'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Manalo. For their unstoppable support, we'd like to thank our INCRadio Washington DC family for supporting our broadcast, especially to Brother Sidney R. Santos, our District Supervising Minister, Brother Richard Soterio, our Assistant District Minister, Brother Audric Dulay, our District CFO Overseer, Brother Tyler Warden, our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Emmanuel Andaya, our Executive Producer, Brother Edwin
Asabuke.
our Overseeing Minister, Brother Wally Taray, our Station Manager, and our dedicated INCRadio Kuya Tex here and in the Philippines.
Woohoo.
Thank you for tuning in and spending part of your day with us. If you like today's show, be sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on what's coming next. Catch us again next week here on Unstoppable Purpose in Motion every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And remember, stay inspired, stay connected, and most of all, stay
Unstoppable.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
With God's help, we become unstoppable. With God's help, everything is possible. All of the accomplishments are remarkable. Others can hate, but they still can't stop it though. We move forward, never ever stumble. With God blessing us, we still stay humble. And through the struggle and all of the trouble, our work we redouble.
Through the good and the bad, we remain victorious. We return all the praises to our God so